Okie dokie. So I've started packing for the sleep out. I am fresh out of the shower, hence the wet hair and the bare face. I'm starting to realise how privileged I am. Clearly, I'm not homeless. I live in a nice house and I can get into the shower and turn the water on if I need to get clean. I wear makeup, and in order to get that off, I have to wash my face really well. Obviously, if I'm not at home, I'm not in a home, then I'm going to have to use a wipe or just not wear makeup at all, which really, like, I'm alright with that, really. But I do feel like when I go to work, I want to put on a face and be someone who is smart and presentable, and the thought of not being able to do that because of the sleep out is something that I don't like. And hey, I'm able to do it every day. Anyway, I've got a little sleep mask that I've decorated for the sleep out. This was sent to me by 1625 Independent People, who's the charity that I'm supporting. This is to try and stop some of the light from the street entering my eyes and interrupting my sleep. I don't think I will probably ever be ready for something like this, but I've done what I can to get prepared. I'm never going to look at somebody who is sleeping on the streets the same again. I'm a little disgusted at how much for granted I take all this stuff. So there we go, revelations of the night with Corrie. I will be vlogging tomorrow, so let's see what happens. Good morning. It is Thursday. It's the big day. Tonight I'll be doing the sleep out. I did not sleep at all well. It's been on my mind all night, so yeah, I'm feeling quite tired, which is a really good start. The thing that I've been worrying about is the cat. She's going to be on her own for, well, from when I leave today at 8 o'clock till when I get home tomorrow at probably about 6 o'clock after work. You see people on the streets with their dogs, because obviously dogs are more adapted, I suppose, to going and being, I don't know, with somebody. What do you do if you become homeless and you've got a cat? It's not a thought I've been enjoying, because I am a massive cat lady. She's running around at the moment with no idea she's going to be abandoned for a bit. Don't worry, I've got a friend coming in tomorrow to feed her. But, yeah, not great. I've just left the house. I've got all my stuff, and I'm on my way to work. I obviously won't film anything at work today, but oh, it's already chilly. I'm just in the bathroom at work. I'm about to wash my makeup off because I don't want to have to try do that in a portaloo. I'm about to leave in half an hour and I am nervously excited. I don't think it's going to be at all easy. I don't know, I'm just keen to do it. This is where we are sleeping, along those walls. They don't turn any of these lights off, so that's it. So it's 9 o'clock and I am sitting against the wall that I'll be sleeping against tonight. We've had a curry, which was interesting. I think it's provided by another charity, so it's fairly similar to what you would get if you go to a soup kitchen, although don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. My colleagues are all sitting in a big circle eating sweets and chocolate and bonding over the shared experience, I suppose. We sat through, or stood through, because there are no seats, an hour of speeches where they were basically just talking about what the charity does, and they had some kids who had previously been homeless or used the service talking, which was pretty interesting, and now people are just sort of chilling, I suppose. As you can see, it's pretty dark, although my camera's not picking up as much light as there actually is. There is actually a lot. And then this is my bed for the night. So I've got a waterproof cover and then my sleeping bag, which is super thick. I'm in my sleeping bag. I just instigated a minor panic attack by getting myself stuck, which was great, but managed to talk myself through it, so I feel like that's probably something that would be a really big problem, not getting stuck in your sleeping bag, but anxiety. So maybe this has been a truer experience than I thought. Anyway, I'm actually really warm. I'm more worried I'm going to be too hot than too cold. So hopefully I'm going to have a good night's sleep, and I'll see you all in the morning. It's currently midnight. Really hard to get to sleep. So much noise. I'm back home with the little pusskin, who was very happy to see me. I didn't really film this morning because there was just so much going on once I'd woken up. We all woke up at about probably 6 o'clock. Then we all packed up and went to a restaurant in Bristol, and we were provided with free porridge, which was really tasty. And then I went to work. One of the guys on my team was doing it as well, so he came with me. And then everybody else who was doing it was on teams who are on a different floor to us, so we didn't really see them. I left work at about 4 o'clock. We got to work at just after 7 o'clock this morning. I normally start work at 8:30, so I didn't feel too bad for leaving early. I think we were both, like, we managed to operate, but yeah, pretty tough. I'm really glad I did it. It was quite hard to explain to people who were saying, how did it go? It's really difficult to say, like, yeah, it was alright, because it was alright. I survived. I wasn't too cold. My sleeping bag was very warm, although when I first got into it, it was really restrictive, and then you put it inside this waxed paper bag, and I had a little panic attack because it was just so, I don't know, I was like this. And I don't do well at being sort of restricted at the best of times, so when I was already feeling a bit weird, I was outside, it was cold, it was just too much, and I feel like I got a really authentic being homeless experience, because mental health will be a big issue for people who are out on the streets, just because it's such a difficult thing to be dealing with. I couldn't say how long I slept, like I couldn't say, oh yeah, I slept for 6 hours. I went to bed at 11, and then I got up at about 6:30, but I definitely was awake for a large proportion of that time, because you're listening to what's going on around you. Like, obviously, when I first went to bed, there were lots of people who were still awake, and obviously if I was in a homeless situation where I was sleeping on the streets, there wouldn't be 100 people around me. But there would be people walking around, and there would be noises, and there might be wild animals. There are a lot of urban foxes, rats, that sort of thing. There might be drunk people who were on a night out, depending on where you were. So, I feel like it was a fairly good representation of what you would deal with, and it was quite scary. I can't remember exactly what I filmed, so hopefully the stuff that you will have seen for this point sort of demonstrated the sort of atmosphere that we were in. It was very, very dark when you looked at it through the camera, but in reality it was actually quite light. I would very happily be able to knit by that light. You couldn't read a book, but you could see what was going on. and it was very difficult to actually sleep. That was a large factor as well. I didn't have any mega valuables. Probably the most valuable thing I had on me was my phone, which was in the sleeping bag with me, so that was fine. But my bag was out there and it had some clothes in it and stuff, and I was very conscious that that was exposed, and that if somebody had come up to me and been like, I'm taking that, I wouldn't have been able to stop them because I was all wrapped up in my sleeping bag. The other thing is I wasn't that uncomfortable because I had a little blow up mattress which was about this thick, and obviously you may not have that if you were in that situation for real. Cardboard made such a big difference. So this colleague who works on the same floor as me rolled off his cardboard in the middle of the night, and he was absolutely freezing because even that much of a, raise off the ground makes such a big difference to how warm you are. This morning I was lying, just sort of not getting up yet because the bags were really rustly and I didn't want to wake other people up around me if they were sleeping. And I was just sort of lying there looking at the stars. It was quite nice. It was almost like being back in Africa and camping under the stars, but obviously way cold. And I felt really small. I could hear all the stuff going on around me, and it was very easy to pretend that there weren't other people there, or not even pretend, but just forget that there were other people around you because you were sort of in your little sleeping bag cocoon. It was lonely. It was just sort of me and the world, and even though it was temporary and I know that I can just pick up a phone and call someone or something, I did find it quite, awful, to be honest. If you didn't have mental health problems before you were made homeless, then you would definitely end up with them if you were homeless for a really long time out on the street. But also, a lot of people who are homeless aren't actually sleeping on the street, they're sort of couch surfing and stuff, so it's not sort of what you think of as traditional homelessness, but it is still a form of homelessness, and it's probably just as difficult. So there we go. I raised over £400 for the charity, and then work will match some of that. So I think by the time all the matching is done and I've calculated the amount I got in cash, I think I will have raised over £700 for 1625 independent people, which is amazing. My friends and colleagues have been so generous, and it feels really good to have done something to help. Going forward, I don't want this to just have been a thing that I did and then I forgot about it. When I went to get some stuff at lunch today, which I had to get for work, I walked past a homeless man under a bridge. I had so much more appreciation for what he went through. I'm still I don't know how to help that individual man. Sometimes I will buy an extra latte if I buy a tea or something in a cafe and give that to people, but they don't always want it. If I was made homeless and people were always giving me coffee, I'm not sure I'd really like that because I don't really drink coffee, and then you'd also need the loo a lot, so maybe that's not as helpful as I think it would be. So I think probably what I'm going to do to keep trying to support this is maybe set up a couple of direct debits, one to the charity that we were supporting last night, 1625 independent people, and then the other to an adult, or to a charity that supports all ages of homeless people, because 1625 independent people only does young people, although that's important in making sure they're not then homeless when they're older. Also the older people who are out on the streets do need help, so whether it's a soup kitchen or something along those lines. I'm going to figure it out. So there we go. I said I would give you my thoughts on the whole thing, and I have. I am exhausted now. It's 5 o'clock and I am so ready to go to bed, but I need to make some dinner and just do some housework before I go. So I'm gonna head here. I also have a crafting video related to the Sleepout to put up for you, so that'll be coming in a few days. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!